It's been a great time for wrestling in general, wrestling in the state of Georgia specifically, and for the tipping point. I think everybody's kind of feeding off of each other right now in a really great way. But some of the things I've seen online recently have been about groups that are kind of out of our coverage so far. Shows that Larry doesn't go to and review, places that generally we don't talk about on Tipping Point. And while it is flattering that people want Larry there, I feel like a number of groups are being real assholes about how they're trying to go about it. And I've read a couple of things recently. So I just wanted to kind of address a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to address various ways that you can get attention for your groups and you can have us talk about you, because you can on one hand say you don't want it and then whine that it doesn't get done, right? And I'm talking about individuals, I'm talking about performers, referees, wrestlers, whatever. I'm also talking about promotions. I'm talking about whole parts of the state that feel like they're underrepresented or don't get any representation. I'm gonna talk about that stuff in a bit, but I need to have a reality check and this goes for just about every group, wrestling group in Georgia. This is a hot time for wrestling, and while there are groups that are definitely kicking ass and doing great and drawing big crowds, it's a hot time in wrestling. So get over yourselves a fucking little bit, all right? It's less an indication if you're doing well that says, boy, you're great, then the groups that aren't doing well, that's a problem. If right now you're running a show and you're doing horrendously or worse than you ever have or worse than you have in a long time, you got to seriously evaluate what you're doing wrong. 100%. There is no excuse that people don't want to go see wrestling. There is no excuse that there's other things to do besides wrestling right now. There's nothing in Atlanta or in Georgia in general competing with your wrestling show. So if you're not doing well, that's a huge problem. I would seriously evaluate what you're doing, because you don't have an excuse beyond you're not getting out there and hustling. You're not connecting with fans enough, just in quantity or in quality. That connection is not happening. But for the groups that are doing well, congratulations, it's wonderful. But I hate to break this to you as well. However many people you draw has never, ever been an indication of quality. It just hasn't. And that's not an excuse from a guy whose shows used to tend to draw less. It's just the truth. There are shit shows that draw 300. It's always been that way. I suspect it always will be. It's just one of those things, right? Here's another thing. People bragging about gates and money drawn to charities specifically. I'm not talking about who you think I'm talking about, probably. Man, like, enough. Like, quit bragging about all the good you're doing. I mean, how long before groups start bragging about how much they're paying their individual wrestlers? I suppose you could. It's always been sort of a dirty little secret, or not so well-kept secret, which groups paid the best. And which groups did not pay. Simple fact, when you're running hot and you've got a show that people want to be on, sky's the limit. This is how the pattern usually goes. Groups do better, then they have these huge aspirations about what they're going to do crowd-wise in the future, and they're going to do all these different towns, and it's going to be amazing, and all this kind of stuff. Those promoters and bookers tend to start whining about the people who are getting in contact with them. And you see all these Facebook posts, don't contact me, contact this person, and da-da-da-da-da, and why are these guys bothering me, and you guys need to have a professional looking thing, and you guys need to do this, and you guys need to do that, blah, 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 on and on and on and on and on. It's happening all over the place. And then the reason I'm putting this out there is not to condemn groups as much as just give you a warning, right? Hubris, right? Arrogance. All of these are the hallmarks of promotions in general and promoters specifically. And you don't have to make the same dumb mistakes again and again. You don't have to do things in the same way that most people have done them. If you're doing well, continue to do the things that you are doing that are leading to your success. Quit patting yourself on the fucking back. Patting yourself on the back doesn't bring in any additional fans. It just makes other people wait with bated breath for you to fail. Hear that. You can be interesting, outgoing, controversial, or all the other dumb things you think you need to be in order to attract people to come to your show without setting the stage for your own demise. A little humility is in order. That's what I see. Two things are very much in order that need to happen. A little bit of humility for the people who are doing well right now. Let me emphasize right now. And a little bit of a gut check and a reality check from the groups that are not doing well in this time of plenty. Yeah? How do you get attention from Georgia wrestling history? First of all, you're smart to want that. I think Larry Goodman has done a phenomenal job. And of course, there's lots of people who contribute and lots of people that help, but let's get fucking real. When you hear Georgia wrestling history, you think about Larry Goodman. When you think about somebody covering your show, you want Larry Goodman, and you should want that. But the promotions that are crying that Larry doesn't come to your fucking show, get this through your head. He goes to the shows that he wants to go to. So what is it about your show that makes him not want to go? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Is it that you've never contacted Larry directly and said, we invite you to such and such a show that's going to be a big deal and you're going to want to be there because of this, that, and the other? This is what's so dumb about these promotions that are not getting coverage. Right? Not only are they not putting in their own reports, which is dumb. I fucking sent a report for every show that PCW did. Hey, and jackasses, we did more shows than anybody else. At one point, we were doing 2 shows a week. 2 shows a week plus an additional 1 or 2 a month on top of that at the Masquerade and other locations, iDrum, etc., etc., etc. Did I send in a report for every single show we did? You're damn right. Did I send in our rankings to PWI hoping they'd put them in? And they did. You're damn right. Did I put in our show recaps to PWI so they would put the bigger shows in their magazine? Yes, I did. Was that a lot of work? You're damn right it was. All of you who are whining about how tough it is to be a booker and all the meetings that you have to have, 2 shows a week, Tuesday and Friday. And in addition to that, often a big show at the Masquerade. And then when we started running in Porterdale, then we were going every Friday at the Academy Theater and then every other Saturday in Porterdale. Got my booking sheets done. Got my meetings done. Got my wrestlers trained. Dealt with all the drama that comes with that. Promoted the shows. Booked the shows. Was the first person there. When we did shows at the Jungle, we had to put the ring up every time and then take it down afterwards. Every time we did a show on Tuesday night. And guess what? I did it. Along with the people who helped. But I didn't go online and bitch and moan and I have to touch the ring and wah. I just did it. So do me a favor, everybody. Shut the fuck up and just do what you do. And quit patting yourself on the back because you ain't done shit. The promotions that are doing really, really well right now, some of them haven't done as many shows yet as I did in a month. Think about that. If you want Larry's attention, contact the man. Little bit of humility is in order because he doesn't have to go to your show. He has no obligation to go to your show. He goes to the shows that he wants to go to, and he wants to enjoy the experience. And even some of you who are drawing 300 or 400, man, I wouldn't go to that show if you put a gun to my fucking head because it looks like shit. Your posters look like shit. So if you want Larry to come, seduce him, invite him, and make the experience one that he will enjoy. And then you'll get a review. And guess what? Then he'll become a fan. That's how this shit works. That's how life works, dummies. Not just wrestling. And for those of you who have been toiling away for years and years and you feel like you haven't been represented, I saw this one referee bitching that he's been doing it for 20 years and he's never been up for an award. Guess what? Because your peers haven't nominated you, dummy. And what does that say about you? What does that say about your peers? What does that say about how realistic you are, about how significant you are? If you want Larry there, invite him and make it inviting. If you want coverage on Tipping Point, contact us and explain why you're newsworthy. If you want your voice heard when we offer you an opportunity, like a chance to speak for 2 minutes. There are people who gave speeches who people contact me and said, I didn't even know so-and-so existed. I didn't even know so-and-so was around, and it was kind of cool to hear from them. You had your chance and you blew it. If you aren't handing in your own reports for your own shows and announcements about your own shows and making sure your posters don't look like dippity-doo dog shit, that's you. You have to meet us 90 to 95% of the way, and then we will meet you. And at the point where you establish a relationship, then we not only meet you 50% of the way, we go above and beyond. And anybody who's gotten coverage from Larry, Tipping Point, or Georgia Wrestling History will tell you the same. Once you show you are the real deal, Larry got your back. Larry's at that combat show that's drawn less people than I've had in my fucking townhouse before. But he's there because AWE impressed him. And that was enough for Larry to continue to give them a chance. Yeah? That's how it works. It's not politics, not favoritism. It's not any of that bullshit. Larry goes to the shows that he wants to go to. So if you want him at your show, for goodness sakes, you should want anybody at your show. You should want Rod to write those reviews. Fuck, you want Rod at your show writing a review. That guy is a soft touch compared to Larry, right? And Rod does a great job. And there's other people, yeah? If you want a relationship, you know, I keep hearing Georgia promoters, we all got to work together. We all got to work together. Then why don't you go to each other's fucking shows and write reports? There's an idea, you lazy bastards. You're going to each other's shows anyway to show face and act like a bigwig. What would establish a connection? What would show that you really want to work together more than went to Gary Lamb's show? Here's my report. Thought it was great. Went to Southern Fried. Went to Southern Violence, wherever the fuck that name of that promotion is. Yeah? You call yourself a fan or you call yourself a shot caller of these promotions, but you just sit there and spin and whine and bitch and moan. Send in a report. You know the guys who write the reports and send them in the past for promotions include guys who have a lot more impressive resumes than anybody listening to this right now. Bill Behrens did not consider himself too good to write a show report and still doesn't. Dan never considered himself too good to write a show report. They considered it imperative to the success of their organizations they were involved with. So what makes you better than them? That's the better question. Stop bitching and make stuff happen. A little bit of hubris will go a long way. Yeah. Because you're going to be eating crow in some way, shape, or form soon. So a little bit of hubris will help you weather the times where you drop. Because more people will be on your side, believe me. And for the promotions that aren't doing well, shit. gut check time, brain check time. What are you not doing or doing that is contributing to your failure? See you on the tipping point.